So it's about a few days before these couples are going back to their original partners, right? We see that Nola and Labo have left the experiment separately, they say. Um, which is super sad. All the couples come back to the host just before, on the night that they're supposed to go back to their original partners. And they have some conversation. And again, Kanya is being an evil, ice cold bee. She's rolling her eyes and everything and just like so upset with Caesar. She feels threatened. That's all I just keep saying it over. She is super threatened by Caesar. Um and Caesar Kelly, she called her ratchet again. All those things. And she even in the midst of this conversation, it was brought up that I think Kadeko brought up the fact that him and Isaac did have a chat at the men's night, and Isaac asked him a couple questions about her or whatever, and he's seeing that Isaac was right about what he was asking or whatever. He was spot on. She took offense to that and was calling them immature and all that kind of stuff. And Courtney is just sitting back, and in her confessional, she like, here she goes, Kanya again, being calling other people names and with the insults and telling somebody else that they're immature, but she's the most immature person in the room. And I'm like, spot on, you know? So anyway, we see a moment where Kanye even actually says, am I being mean just for the sake of being mean? Or is it I've become a mean person and trying to keep myself shielded and keep my guard up? Who is this person? Because I don't want to be this. She basically was doing a little self-evaluation, and saying she don't want to be or mean to be that mean, but that's just what she is at this point. So it gave me a little bit of hope in her, and then that went away super fast once they got back in their couples. Aiden and Courtney was so happy to be back together. Of course, they back together. Because Courtney and Genesis walked away from this as besties. Basically, he was like, she showed me so much about what I can be doing to help Tabby and be a better partner. Them two, they didn't leave off romantically. They left as friends. So you can tell that Aiden and Courtney both ended up in friendship relationships for the first 3 weeks, and they was able to make it back to each other without a whole lot of strife and confusion because they emotionally and physically went too deep with their person for the first 3 weeks. Um, then Genesis and Tabby get back to their place, and she sees that Tabby sees that Genesis has brought her all these presents. She's opening them. She's enjoying all of that. And she looks on the bed. She said, oh, it's one more. And she opens it. It was a teddy. It said from Busby to Bubsy. From Bubsy to Bubsy. But it was from Lindale. It was not from Genesis. Genesis felt the way about that. She also admitted to Genesis that she actually did buy Lindale a gift too. And she wanted to exchange it at the meet when everybody was there, but the way things were going, she didn't want to make it even worse than what it was. So she decided not to do that there. And he had arranged for somebody to put it in their place on the bed. So she explained to Genesis that she did get Lindela a gift. And she felt bad that she didn't get him a gift. And so she went to go take the gift to Lindele. I don't know where Caesar was at the point that she came to give the gift to him. But he accepted it. He thanked her for it. Then we see Caesar. She's feeling like a disconnect and some awkwardness, and we all know it's gonna be awkwardness because you just lived with someone else for the last 3 weeks. She already knows that Lindell has been emotionally invested into Tabby and what they had going on for the last 3 weeks. Anyway, but I don't know what these people think is supposed to happen in this experiment. I don't know, because the way in which Kanye had such vitriol for Isaac, Caesar, and everybody else. Like, not everybody else, but she really got vitriol for Caesar and Isaac or whatever, right? It's like you brought him here to force him, and you already knew you was gonna end up in other couples. You never know where somebody's emotions is gonna take them. So why do you think that he was just gonna go be with this other person for these weeks and just be mean to them like how you was to Isaac? Everybody not made up like that. Everybody's not like made up like that. So Caesar, she already can tell that Lindell still got some residual feelings to Tabby. That they both enjoyed their time with one another. Um, at some point we don't see her ask, but she finds out about the gift. The gift that Tabby gave Lindell was a shirt and a little bottle or something. I don't know what it was. It was a nice looking shirt. At some point, she saw it and she told him to call her and give the gift back. She feel like her giving him that gift is a F to her. He never once told her he had also bought Tabby a gift, thanking her for the experience, being respectable and all those things like that. Like, they appreciated what they learned from one another via this experiment. And it was just like a goodbye gift, I guess. But Caesar is jealous and insecure because she realizes that they had a deep emotional connection. So because she went and she saw the shirt still hanging. So she went and took the shirt out. She saw the bag. The bag said, "What goes around comes around." So she's saying that, do you know what she gave you? Why would she give you this bag that say this? She's basically saying, yeah, you came to her and you're going to return to her, is what she's saying with this bag. I'm like, okay. So she said, I told you to give it back to her. So she put the stuff in the bag and marches over to where Tabby and Genesis is staying. They in there, they having a good time or whatever, talking to each other. And they get a knock at the door, and she asks, can she come in? She said, yeah. She goes in, and she's very feisty. Caesar, her name is Caesar Kelly. She is very bubbly and sweet, and I fear that for so long, she's allowed people to step over her and her feelings. And now, she's headed up the hill with that, and she's trying to stand up for herself now at this point. And this is not the moment to be acting like. I feel like she blew this out of proportion. This wasn't what the moment to be acting like that or whatever. But she goes over there and she approaches Tabby, and she tell her, why would you give him that? You are disrespecting me. We're backing our couples, our original couples, and you come and you bring him a gift. Take it. Take your gift back. I don't want it. I mean, he don't want it. He don't need it, is what she said. So then we see at some point, Kateko and Lindele have a conversation. And Kateko is talking to him about how it's going since him and Caesar is back together and all those things like that. And the changes he's noticed in her since they've been back together out of the couples. And so Lindella, he basically is like he connected. He didn't want to connect, but he emotionally connected with Caesar a lot. And they got to know each other in a way. No, I mean with Tabby. And they got to know each other in a way that him and Caesar never did. And then he asked Kadeko, like, what was it with you and Caesar or whatever? And he was like, I feel a way about a guy treating. No, I think that was Genesis that said that about a guy treating your woman better than you did, or doing things for her differently than you. They all had their little feelings and emotions about it. But it was cool that Katheko and Lindeli could sit down and talk about Caesar without insulting one another. Kanye. Because Kanye can't sit down and talk to nobody without insulting them. So they had that conversation. We see we see Ruth and Isaac together. Ruth and Isaac, of course, is indifferent because he already know that she had been having sex with Nola. She said she wasn't even physically attracted to him. She just wanted to have the sex. She was just horny, and she's to me, she has the mind of a man in that way that you know how men can just go out there and do what they want to do with somebody and be like, all right, I did what I wanted to do. That's it. That's what she did. So what was I about to say? That's what she did. He didn't feel comfortable being in the same bed with her because they was staying in the same place that her and Nola was staying in. So he said he didn't want to be in there with her. He was trying to sleep on the couch. She was like, no, you can get in the bed. But he actually got up and was like, I can't do this. So he left for a few days and he came back. He left and went home for a few days and came back. And then at some point he took Ruth to finally meet his sister, his brother, and somebody else. And they all called him out on the fact that you're timid and making a decision to get married and stuff. And you want to blame her and say she not doing these things, but it's you. And he still wasn't trying to hear what they were saying. And even his sister was like, in our culture, we're not bringing nobody around that we just seeing for the moment. Like, when we bring somebody home, it's because we got plans on being with this person for life. And maybe that's why he didn't bring you home. And the fact that he took so long to let us meet you, it just makes me feel as though that he wasn't serious. That's what the sister says. So then we see when they got back in their couples, Kanye was extremely nasty and vile towards Katheko. She didn't want him in their place at all. He was sitting on the bed chilling. She came and poured wine on him, told him, go ahead, take your cheap wine and get out of my bed. You will not sleep in this bed after you've been all over there with her, canoodling and cuddling with her, doing whatever you was doing. She is so angry and vile and bitter. And she poured the stuff on him. He said, You are doing this for what? You're getting like this for what? Because in his mind, you brought me to this experiment. You knew what it was. You knew I was going to be in the place with somebody else for 3 weeks. So she fussed him out. She get loud. She poured the stuff on him. She put hands trying to grab at him and push him out of the bed and all those things. I'm like, she too much. And then next thing you know, some days pass by. He go to the store, gets the things that she likes from the store, come back. They putting it in the refrigerator. He asked her how was her day. And she was like, you're not going to just come in here and ask me how my day was. Like, we don't have an issue. So she wants to talk, and they talk a little, and then they like to trade insults and jabs with each other, and then that like turns them on. And they end up sleeping together. I said, oh, Lord, he back in it. So he's all like, I want to get, we cannot take the next step until you apologize to my mother. And she was like, I feel like I'm the one that's always apologizing. So she said she'd do what she got to do because she loves him. And she said, you really think I'm a gold digger? Why would I be with you? You don't have a whole lot of money. Obviously, I really do love you. So them two have worked their way back to one another. I'm just like, whatever. We see that Ruth and Isaac, when he comes back after being gone for a few days, they get into a heated argument. She asks, if you feel so bad about me, because he wanted her to apologize for sleeping with Nala. And she was like, I'm not apologizing for that. I did what I wanted to do. And as far as me sleeping with him, you was running bags for Kanye. Y'all saw each other naked. I don't know what y'all were over there doing. You said y'all didn't sleep together, but y'all saw each other naked. That is just as bad as me having sex with Nola. And Isaac didn't want to see that. He felt like he didn't do anything wrong or whatever. And then she said, if you want to go, just go. Like, you don't need to be here to insult me and stuff. So then that's when he pulled out the ring and showed her, like, I wonder why I keep coming back. But this is why I keep coming back. So he showed her that he did go out and get her an engagement ring. So the guys have a guys' night out where they cook and eat. And the girls have a sleepover. So they say they was having a pajama party. They in their pajamas. They enjoying themselves. They get to talking about their experience and all that stuff. And this time, Kanye pounces on Ruth. She asks Ruth, so let's deal with the elephant in the room. Did you apologize to Isaac for sleeping with Nola? She asked her something regarding that, and she was like, no, I wanted to sleep with him. I did what I wanted to do with my body. And of course, Kanye was asking that because she was judging her. And so she starts to insult Ruth. But Ruth was like, how are you judging me for me making a decision with my body, what I wanted to do? But you were naked in front of my man. As far as I'm concerned, what you did was cheating as well. Kanye was not trying to hear that. She called Ruth ratchet, a slut, easy, all those things. And everybody else just sitting back looking at Kanye like, you are so ignorant and vile. And Ruth told her about herself, which I'm glad. She told her about herself without bursting into tears or anything, the way that Caesar did. Like, Caesar is beautiful and too soft to go up against someone like Kanye. Because I forgot to mention that after the argument, when Kay left Caesar over there with Kanye, when Caesar got back to Kay at their villa, she was like, why did you leave me there? Why would you do that? You know she's vile and disrespectful and insulting. Why would you leave me there for her to attack me in that way? I'm like, exactly. She was like, and why would you want to be with somebody like that? And he ain't have an answer. He apologized. He was like, you said you had questions, so I figured you would want to go over there and ask her. No, you set her up. And she was like, I feel like you set me up to go and fight your battles for you, to say to her the things that you want to say that you're too scared to say, is what you did. And that is precisely what he did. But anywho, them two go back and forth with each other, and the men having their talks, and they ask, has anybody been back and been intimate with their original partners? Everybody except for Aiden says yes. Wait a minute, no, everybody except for Isaac says yes. And they was like, he said, I feel alone in this. He said, but I don't want to sleep with her. I'm just not there yet. Because I gotta get that image of what she did out of my mind. Again, he gotta get the image of what Ruth did out of his head. But also, he don't want sex to cloud his judgment. Because like he said, y'all up here going back and settling back in with y'all old partners the way things used to be. And when it comes time to say whether or not you're willing to propose or you want to break up, y'all gonna still be confused because y'all got sex on the brain. Y'all ain't gonna make the best decision for yourself because y'all still got sex on the brain. Basically. Aiden and Courtney meet up with their parents. So we see Courtney's mom and dad, and we see his mother. At some point, Courtney and Aiden's mother go off to have a chat. Aiden is left at the table with Courtney's parents. He tells them he really, really loves her, and he wants to marry her. Courtney's dad tells him he respects him, and he just wants his daughter to be happy, and he knows that Aiden's dad is overseas somewhere. So as far as he's concerned, if you need a father figure at any point, advice, anything, anybody to talk to, he could always call on him. I was like, that was cool. That was real cool. Um, but now we up to D-Day, decision day. Whether or not people are going to actually propose. Oh, before we get to decision day, I wanted to also mention that at some point, Lindele, no, it's not Lindele, Kadeko meets up with Caesar. And he's talking to her about what has been transpiring since she's been back with Lindele. And he was like, if we both say no to our partners, is there any point or way that we two can try to pick up where we left off with what we had here, like to see if that would work out with us? And she was just left looking like, I don't recall what she actually said, because I think that's when the episode went off, and we're getting the episode where we make our decisions on whether or not we stand together. I do feel like, I really feel like Caesar should not give Linda, she shouldn't give Kateko another chance. I don't like the way he did her with dropping her off over there, like telling her to go over there to Kanya, and you leaving her there for Kanya to just obliterate her with her words. And like, I'm not feeling it. I don't like that at all. I think that Caesar and Lindele, they need to just go ahead and split apart. Lindele is not, he not ready. He the one who issued the ultimatum to Caesar, but he's seen what things can be with another partner, how he connects emotionally with somebody else. So I feel like he should just go ahead and leave Caesar be and let her go on, because the way it seems to me is that Caesar will go along as long as he wants to go along. She's never going to break away from him and try to find someone who might fit her more. You know what I mean? Like, she'll sit there and take the punishment or take the pain and the ups and downs and stuff when she don't have to. Kadeko deserves better than Kanya. She need to go on about her business and be the gold, like, live her best gold digger life, because that's all she gives. She's a gold digger. Ruth and Isaac. I feel like Isaac and Ruth shouldn't be getting married either. Ruth is sexually frustrated. That's what it gave to me from what she was saying. And they both don't give each, like, he tries to be attentive and she is not. So I feel like they should go on and try to find love elsewhere as well. I do believe Courtney and Aiden would last if they decided to get married, which I think they are deciding to get married. I just want Aiden to find his footing and find a career or a job path so he could contribute as much financially as Courtney is contributing. I think they could work. I think they can make it work. Tybee and Genesis, I think they are settled. They were with each other in their college years, which was like some formative years in their lives, and they are familiar with one another. But I feel like they both could experience a deeper, truer love with other people, and they should break up. I really do think that. I really do. But we're at decision day, so let's see what that's giving. And again, I'm really enjoying all the activities and things that the couples are doing on this version of the ultimatum versus the two or three versions of the ultimatum we've had here in America. I like the one in America. We always see them at a bar, at a happy hour or something. These people were really doing stuff, like I said, with the roller skating, the painting, the zip lining. They just doing a whole lot of other stuff that they not doing on this version. I mean, on the American version. But tell me what y'all thoughts are. Who do y'all think? Who, if y'all already finished watching everything, because I'm not, don't tell me in the comments, but who actually ended up saying yes or no or how things went. But I do want to know what y'all thoughts was going into the decision day episode. Like, what did y'all think about the couples? And I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.